Welcome to the Love and Sex Today show with Dr. Doug Weiss. Doug has been healing hearts and relationships for decades. He's helped thousands of people release the shame and the guilt, restoring hope, helping people get free from addictions to enjoy a better sex and love life. Here he is, your host, Dr. Doug Weiss.
Welcome to Love and Sex Today. I am Dr. Doug Weiss, and I will be your host for our 41st conversation. Today's topic is Critic or Cheerleader. We are going to be talking about something that really makes a difference today. So you want to definitely listen to the whole thing and find out where you are and find out how to be awesome at being your spouse's or your partner's cheerleader. This is going to be really, really helpful for you and really, really practical. Don't forget to go to loveandsextoday.com, subscribe there, review us on iTunes. One of you will be selected for a one-time private conversation with myself. Also get a free chapter of one of my books on our webpage, and enjoy this one because I don't know if you've ever been on a road trip with your parents when you were younger and they got to choose the music. Usually it would not be your type of music at all. And it seemed that it added hours and hours to the trip because what you were listening to was just painful. Well, marriage and long-term relationships are like very long road trips. Lots to see, lots to do, but the company never changes. I don't know if you ever thought about your relationship that way. I mean, I get to enjoy so much of my life. I've been married for over 30 years, and I actually enjoy having the same spouse. I love looking at the same eyes. I love being with the same person. I enjoy her just totally, and I love that. However, when you're with your spouse over the long term, it's like that music. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but your spouse is going to hear more words from you than any other one person in their life. Even their parents, day in, day out. I mean, they had school in the middle, so there was that. And then come home, they have a couple hours every day. But they left, maybe left at 18, maybe 19, 20, 21. You've been married, some of you, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. You have spoken more to your wife, more to your husband than anyone. And so I want to talk about what role you've decided to play in your spouse's life, because this is really, really important. It's almost conscious, but for some people, they'll say it's not conscious, but look at your behavior and you'll be able to see which one is really you. See, you as a spouse already have a belief about your role. And you believe your role is either cheerleader or critic. So let's walk through. If you believe your role is a cheerleader, which that is my role, I've always believed my role is to cheerlead Lisa, cheerlead my children, and that's my role. Even if I see the flaws, and sometimes the flaws even cost me time, energy, and money, that's not to be my overall focus. My job as a husband, my job as a dad is to highlight what's best. Okay? My daughter was a cheerleader. And cheerleaders, they don't call fouls. Cheerleaders don't scream out, you made a mistake. No, cheerleaders are people who see what's right. Keep going. Rah, rah, rah. I mean, I've sat hundreds of hours on bleachers and places watching my daughter cheerlead at these sporting events. And regardless of how the team played, they might be 30 points down. It might be the last 2 minutes, and they're not going to win. The cheerleaders are still out there rallying positive energy and support for the team. I mean, and they're giving it their absolute best. They're out there jumping around and rah, 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 and really encouraging people to give some positive energy to the sports team, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, regardless of what the team is, they are out there. And the spouse who's decided to be a cheerleader has endless positive energy because they decided a long time ago, I am here to show you your best self. I am here, regardless of where you are in the game of life, to tell you that you're awesome, you're amazing, you're smart, you're clever, you're persistent. In my office, people come in and they do intensives. They fly from all over the world to come do marriage intensives of various types. And one of the exercises I love doing with couples is praise. I have them give 2 praises to each other. And I'm amazed at how insightful they are to each other. And they keep these nuggets of observations in their heart for decades about how they really enjoy the persistence or the work ethic or the humor or the organization or the ability to have intuition in situations. And they see these positive qualities about their spouse day in, day out, over weeks and decades. And yet they never just say it. Well, if you decided your role is cheerleader, you say what you see. You're amazing. You're smart. You're creative. You're intelligent. When you do that, you're so powerful with the kids. I really enjoy this part of your personality. And you really let it out there and you let it be known in front of family and friends and children. I always praise my wife in front of my children because I wanted my children to have a high regard for my wife. And I've always told my children, she was my wife. Lisa was my wife before she was your mom. So you treat her as if she's my wife with respect. And my kids knew that was the hot button for dad. You respect mom at all times. I am my wife's cheerleader. And I want you to understand that is a place that I've decided a long time ago. It's a position. It's my role. And see, once you identify your role, like if you get into a job, maybe you identify your role as you're the manager. Maybe you're just the worker bee. Maybe you decided your role is to be the critic on everything that's wrong in the company. Well, okay. And there's a place for every role. Okay. And there is the other role that people choose inside the marriage, and that is the role of critic. Even if their belief is they are trying to help. And that usually is hopefully the motivation. I want to help you get better. I don't want you to do that in public. I would like you to, when you eat, use a fork. Okay. Things like that. And I believe some critics' hearts are right, that they want to really, really help improve their spouse. But I don't remember that being in the marriage vows my goal is to improve you. Now, you can live a wonderful life in front of them, and that by itself would improve them. But the focus is on the flaws. What happens is you marry this person because you think they're amazing, and then you find out that there's 3, 5, or slightly higher percentage that irritate you, that frustrate you, that cause you pain, that are disruptive to the way you do your life. They want it cold, you want it hot. They leave the toilet seat up, you don't. They remember to pick up things after work, and maybe they miss that. They're not as intuitive on certain things as you are intuitive. They spend more or save more than you would like. And you focus on what's a challenge for you. You focus on the flaws. And when you see the flaw, you're allowed to announce that. Sometimes even in front of others, like family and friends, which is really a very bad place to be. If you're doing that in public, you have decided in your heart to humiliate and to highlight the flaws in front of others. And maybe that's to make you look good. Maybe you're insecure, and maybe you don't have an education your spouse does. Maybe they make money you don't, and you have to bring them down. I don't know what the motive would be, but you'd have some motive in trying to make sure other people are experiencing or at least seeing the pain maybe that you're experiencing. And if you're married to this person, it's like a really bad radio channel for the rest of your life. You can't do anything right. If you do anything, if you don't do it their way, it's a problem. Now, in my marriage, we solved that really early in the marriage. I'm talking I think weeks into it. We have this mantra that says, if I'm doing it right. And if you don't like how I'm doing it, you get to do it. So if my wife likes the socks rolled and I like to fold them and I'm folding them instead of rolling them, and she comes in and says, hey, you're not doing it right. I go, do you want to do it, or do you want me to continue doing it right? And she's like, I'll do it. Okay, you can do it. If you need it to be done right, that's fine. So there are ways of kind of circumventing some of this negative behavior if you have it going in your life. But remember to look at how many words you speak in the positive versus maybe the neutral or negative. And there are some people, they don't speak to their spouse very much at all. That's not positive either. But you want to believe your behavior. Don't believe, oh yeah, I think I'm a cheerleader because every 5 years I tell them they're amazing. No, look at your week. How many proactive, positive words are you speaking to your wife's heart, to your husband's heart, that you're awesome, you're really amazing. I so much enjoy you, your personality, your smile. I just love the way that you manage things, or you cooked, or you cleaned up, or you provide, or you care, or you work, or you take care of something with the kids, that they needed your personality to get that done. There are so many things our spouses do that need to be highlighted. But you want to believe your behavior, because if you think you're a cheerleader, but you're actually a critic, that's going to be really challenging because the radio on the other side is still a critic. And if you don't know, ask your spouse, do you think I give you more positive affirmation versus criticism? Now, be prepared for them to be honest with you, even if you don't agree. But I would believe what they're saying to you because they're listening to the radio than yourself. And then evaluate that and look at that. You can always change your role, and you have to do it intentionally. Okay? You definitely have to say, I need to be their cheerleader. Unfortunately, you can always switch that, make it possible, and make it fun. And remember, marriage is a long trip. It's a very long trip. If you decided to be married, you decided this is going to be my favorite person throughout the rest of my life. Him or her is going to be sitting right there in sickness and health, richer and poorer, right? Remember those words? Ups and downs, good days, bad days, days when you're having so much success and sometimes when it doesn't seem like success is even possible. That right next to me is the one I wanted to be on the road with, the one I wanted in the car. So make the radio positive, make it cheerleading. Be that person. When you come in the door, maybe you need to be thoughtful, even prayerful. God, help me. I'm going into my house. Help me to switch gears and not see what's wrong, but see what's right and say what I see. And if something needs to be done, help me be the one just to pick it up and do it. That'd be an awesome person to be married to, so be that person. Well, loveandsextoday.com if you want to ask a question. We can get that on the show. We'd love to do that for you. Don't forget to subscribe, review us on iTunes, and one of you will be selected for a private conversation with myself and also get a free chapter on our webpage, Love and Sex Today. Remember, always have great love and great sex today.
That's it for our episode of Love and Sex Today with Dr. Doug Weiss. Head on over to loveandsextoday.com and be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes. When you do, and you post a review on iTunes, some lucky listener is going to win every single month a private confidential coaching call with Dr. Doug Weiss. Also, feel free to ask any question you like. You can push a button, speak your question, and Dr. Doug will answer your question in a future episode. So be sure to subscribe to the show. Doug's got some great gifts for you, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.